that I've won. We're headed on into the game here. We have been completely derailed. It is going to be ancient if this plays out to expectations, because again, I think Mirage did just go 16-10 as it did previously. We're going to have a 16-13 back the other way.
It was
16-10 last.
16-14 last time. No,
was it? I thought you said it was a 16-10. I could have sworn.
I think we were. You're going back a few.
Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm incorrect. I'm thinking about something else here.
But either way, Swisher is going to get the opening shot here over on XNS. Junior planting the bomb, but Maluk gets the response here onto Swish. B-Wills continues to spam away through that smoke, and Team 1 are on for the retake. They have a kit. That's on PRT's utility belt. Nade's going to fly on through. That's going to do quite a bit of damage. Spongy down to 34 HP. And here comes Team 1 trying to pop the heads. Junior denies, so does B-Wills, and Junior again. PRT, the last one standing, and no longer. B-Wills drops him, and the Bad News Bears win the pistol round.
Hold on, I need you to carry this next round. I have to communicate to the Ibuypower Twitch channel what my details are to get my stickers.
Oh my goodness. You have
Very
got
important.
to be kidding me. Alright, alright. Let's let Mike get his Peepo stickers. Gotta admit, I'm a little jealous. I would like my Peepo stickers too, but I guess I'm gonna have to try and win them in the chat. I can't believe it. Anyway, 1-0 for the Bad News Bears. Team 1 are going to have 2 Deagles, 2 5.7s, and the Scout as Shake Zul is just charging out, balls to the wall, doesn't even care that the smoke is down. He's going to be hugging right next to that Swisher. Coming through Snake, is he going to slither on through? Well, he does get one on Mobs and decides to fall off of that after he finds the opener. Maluk will have the Scout on the A site. Connects on a shot, so that's not too shabby. Forces Junior back into A main, but Pesadillo is going to go down to Spongy. And that could isolate the rest of Team 1. Spongy, okay, PRT responds with 1. Down to only man advantage, but the damage keeps on raining in. XNS! What a shot with the Deagle! Thought he was dead to rights, but Shake goes down, and XNS doesn't want anything to do with the MAC-10. He's going to stick with that Desert Eagle, and why not when he's hitting shots like that?
Right, details taken care of. Stickers secured here, John. This is the most important part of the evening, clearly. Now I can focus on the secondary objective here, which is this cast, Junior. Ooh, a little drive-by hit there. And XNS and PRT, well, they are limping at this juncture, so things are not looking good. Noodle is standing right next to the power switch for my whole rig, so I'm a little nervous. I'm going to try and draw him away from it. There's a power strip that powers my PC, and that would be bad if he kicked it.
He's jealous that the Peepos are coming.
I think he would enjoy a Peepo. He's pretty friendly with everything. PRT is going to try and be pretty friendly with somebody's face, and he's going to get shot in the back of his head. XNS all the way on the other side of the site. There's not really a whole lot he can do, so no time to spare, but the bomb is going down. Yeah, Noodle pretty much thinks everything that he encounters is a friend, whether it wants to be his friend or not, until proven otherwise.
Unless it snaps back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good attitude to have as a Doge. So
yeah,
not upset about it.
I think as any living creature, really.
I mean, it depends on how fragile you are, right? You're at risk of most things destroying your life. Maybe don't be so trusting on the rip. But he's durable, so he's going to be okay. He sometimes gets so excited when he sees another dog that he jumps straight up into the air while he's on the leash, right? The leash then naturally, by fully extending, pulls him back, and he just backflips and hits the pavement. And I'm always like panicked, like, oh my god, are you? And he just bounces up and is completely okay. He's he lives up to the Noodle name. I'll put it that way.
He springs back.
Very quickly, instantly, no concerns. Straight down mid they go. And with the limited pistols, they got to do something to try and make this round work. And, well, they're not going to find anything. B-site's already been taken. There's the player of the day. Mobs will connect. Okay, there we go. Balls with that hand cannon. I mean, he doesn't even just see with the Deagle. He's still going to be dangerous. Bomb's down now, though, and it's planted out in the open. So this should mitigate most of the risk from this round. Re-smoke in, even just to keep mobs contained. That's the one where they're just like, you know what? We're not going to mess with mobs. We're just going to treat Mobs like he is as dangerous as he could possibly be, because that's how we get through this round okay. And now he is the only one surviving. That kept him at bay this entire round. Is that Molly going to spread the tick him? No. Will not. But Spongy will spread.
Yes. He will find that last one. So far, so good for the Bad News Bears. Up 3-0 on Team 1. Last time they played here, it was Junior at the top. Excuse me. It was Shake at the top at 23 and 18, and Swisher, the best ADR at 86.6. So we'll see if those two bases are the ones to top the scoreboard once more. But so far, it's been Swisher leading the charge with 4 to his name. But Team 1 now have the rifles to work with, 4 A1Ss and the op. Shake through Snake, Mobs waiting in Jaguar. He's got support as well. He's just trying to spam through the wall there to ensure that anyone who's foolish enough to come near will at least take some damage. But Shake on the other side, free and clear from that spam, at least for the time being. Spongy goes towards mid, sees a couple of players, and now he's going to back off. Excuse me, not mid, into jungle. He's looking into A main, and he throws a flashbang, and then will fall off of it and grab the bomb to join up with his teammates towards that B site. It's framing up to be a B hit.
That it is. Quite the engagement going on here. They do have 2 players in, but it's not a full commit. Mobs and X and S, 2 of the heavy hitters for the squad as we've seen so far. Need to deliver. But Swisher. Catch one peeking back into the red room, and there it is. Maluk had hit a very snappy shot and was not up to the task. X and S, big kill. Might not be safe for the moment, but now they know there's a pincher back in, and Swisher is going to punish on that flank. Pace at least can deal with that. But Mobs has wisely withdrawn in towards the cave. They should know he's here. They know he likes to play this, right? So they got a pretty good read. 25 seconds. They are going to have to plant and just hope that Mobs doesn't have a bead on this particular spam. He will try, but these off-kilter plants are keeping him from getting that free kill.
PRT. Flashbang thrown. He's going to peek around. Bad News Bears playing it very passively here, but Spongy is going to drop Mobs. Pesa and PRT only have 100 HP combined. They might decide to save these guns, and indeed they are. They're ducking out of this fight. Spongy? Oh no! PRT decides to stick around for too long, and Shake will drop him. At least he gives Pesa enough time to retreat with the AWP, and Pesa will be able to save this forward into the next round, but the money is not looking good for Team 1. Soon though, Mike, but still, Bad News Bears, well, nice start on Ancient, especially on a T side that's difficult to get these many rounds on.
It certainly is, yeah, right. If you can build that early bevy of rounds, you give yourself such an advantage heading into the later end. Here we do have the AWP, but Team 1 obviously not going to be able to put much around it, so the question is, can Maluk get activated early with this op? Or are they going to move him in towards mid? He's looking for that elbow fight. I might give it to him. Molly's going to make it uncomfortable, and they're going to back away wisely. With the utility being committed from the other side, they're like, okay, well, Team 1's trying something here. Let's just not give them the chance. There's no reason to, right? There's no reason to give them an opportunity. You've got the advantage in this round. Press it. Avoid any situation that can give the numbers back over. Mobs is deeper in the cave. This time he's playing from Jaguar, but he doesn't have much to work with. There's still Deagle. That's always a threat. Sinas trying to make some noise here as they come up to B ramp. Into the site they go. Smoke on in. Isolates this fight pretty dang well, and B will eventually bring it through. Nicely played from the Bad News Bears to avoid many opportunities. Over the nade, though. The nade catches Shake. Zula Pesa back in with that op. Taking off of Maluk's body. It is now doing more damage. Oh, Swisher's going to... No, just misses Mobs. Timing could be brutal here. And the bomb's not planted to be able to be defended from cave, so Swisher will need to get out. Pesa, though, he's running out of time. He's running out of clock. He's running out of options. That's the right read, but he's turned away from it at the wrong moment. And he will be down and into the dirt. Good impact in the round, considering how little they brought in. But Bad News Bears are more than happy to just take the round up.
Yeah, at least 3 frags coming through from Team 1, like you said, just on the eco. But that op saved over did quite a bit of damage. The thing is, CASA, he was trying to be the hero. And he went out for try and get those last 2 frags, and unfortunately that means the op is also lost. But they have enough money to invest into not only 1, but 2 AWPs, so it was perhaps worth the risk for him. CASA, speaking of which...
Double op is interesting on this map. I don't think a lot of teams run it, right? I feel like it's a rarity. It's just really tricky to make a retake work on Ancient with it.
Yes, but in terms of defense, I can see a lot of opportunities, right? A main, down mid, sniper room in mid is pretty potent spot to be holding from, and even at the B site, there are a lot of interesting angles. So definitely, I agree with you on the retakes, it's a little tough, but on the initial defense, it can be very potent.
Yeah. I'm thinking about why we don't see more teams run it.
It's a new map.
We'll see if PRT can have some success with it on that secondary. Bad News Bears been very patient about getting in, and they have taken their early licks of utility damage, right? 3 players quite low. About half. Not substantially low, but still. Seems like this might be the round they finally threaten A. Utility going to sail over. Everyone's grouped up to come out A main. That's exactly what they're going to do. There's 2 players tucked back towards Donut, and actually, Base is going to float to be able to play a different position from his comrade. That's one of the ops as well. That's PRT, who will be coming out of the Donut, but he smoked off, so does he want to play through? He does. Going to try for a shot, going to try for a lucky blow, but they've got no vision. He smokes denying everything, and they're content to stay alive on site. This ground's been taken, but can they see it through? There, the kills start to come in. The patience paying off for Team 1, not revealing their hand early here. And they're looking for more in terms of a fight, and it's Mobs who's on the scene. Everybody has flowed through here. They know they've got the time in their favor. Only 12 seconds. Spongy has to go if he's going to go. And he's going to save. Bold, to say the least. And fortunately for him, he will die before the clock runs out.
I mean, if you're going to fall off. Fully commit to it. And don't stop. Don't do the NA save. Well, Bad News Bears do lose their first round here. I'd say that the T side's going better for them here against Team 1 than it did against Extra Salt, right? Because we saw against Extra Salt, they really couldn't get their rhythm after finding a few openers. It was just Extra Salt all the way, taking control to win that one 16-13. Peepo, help us out. We're stuck again.
Peepo! Stop messing around in the replay room.
But yeah, no. As I was saying, oh, there's the Peepo. He's like, I fixed it. Oh, you're good. But Bad News Bears, pretty good B side, all things considered. Let's see if they can continue to do that. And they walk onto the B side uncontested. XNS does manage to get one going for the wall bang, looking to connect for another, but it doesn't happen. 4v4 bomb going to get planted. CASA flirting with pushing through this smoke, Mike.
Junior. Nice playing. Shake knows he's got 2. Just spamming it on down, keeping some bullets in the gun to try and catch them on the chase, and he'll get a chance for the reload. That's all he wanted. XNS pushed back, and at this point, XNS, what is he going to try and do? Just hang on in Jaguar, or can he slip away? He can slip away, but the round's been conceded. Team 1 give up a 6th round here, John.
Jeez.
I mean, they finally got on the board, right? And then it immediately gets isolated. So now the economy is in a shambles, and this is a catastrophe for an Ancient CT side.
It really is. I mean, they can still find their rhythm, right? But you're looking at the prospect of winning 8 in a row to give yourself kind of a more typical scoreline on your CT side of Ancient. Bad News Bears, again, have an opportunity to really run away with this one. Let's hope that, as opposed to Mirage, they capitalize on it this time. Double ops coming through again for Team 1. 3 A1Ss to round out the buy. Bad News Bears, 4 AKs, and the Soul Op. Luke charging down towards mid. Wants to have a peek. Good flashbang thrown. Swisher was blinded briefly, and he does go down. Junior gonna face, and he gets the immediate trade. Op v op goes to Junior. 4v4. Nice nade tossed on forward to a very common spot. XNS goes down to 52 HP, but he continues to hold. That said, Shake spots out Mobs coming from cave. XNS attention diverted, and he will have to fall off. He doesn't have the reinforcements right now to face off against 2 players. Now they're here. Both ops. but I think the hit's going to go towards A. That's a really good call from the Bad News Bears.
That it is. Still, PRT has a chance to shut this all down, right? They're all coming from the same sight line. He's got the A1S. This thing can be a laser beam as they round the corner. 55 seconds. Trying to call for the rotation. That's not going to be available, and they went for a boost up to try and circumvent his angle. PRT is going to find the first. He's tagged down. He's lost his teammate, but he's still somehow holding strong. PRT, a bastion on the site, and they bailed. They don't want it. They don't want that heat. They don't want that sauce. They're bailing on out. Instead, they've still got this player in the cave. That's going to be Sheikh Zula, who's scoped in. And as XNS comes to clear, Sheikh Zula will claim that life. Now he knows he's got this site cleared. He's content to push on out. He was so patient in not overplaying his hand, and that's going to secure the bomb plant with 15 seconds to go, and PRT is just going to have to save. Really nicely done from the Bad News Bears. Huge round from Sheikh Zula.
This T side just keeps getting better and better, Mike. 7-1 now. PRT forced on the save. I mean, you do have the full loss bonus, but on CT side, it doesn't really yield the results when your economy is this low. Everyone below $500, meaning that yes, they can go for a half buy into the next round, but that'll probably be the most they'll want to invest into. Alrighty, Bad News Bears. Nice little bounce back after having a pretty heartbreaking loss on Mirage, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Terrorists win. I mean, yeah. I'd say it was heartbreaking. I mean, still, though, that final few rounds, you know, it got away from them. Team 1 really put up a run and absolutely deserved it. It's not one of those where you go, you know, it comes down to one mistake. No.
Well,
John, I know, but
well,
there was more than just that. There were many more rounds where Team 1 were just in complete control. This one, though, it's Bad News Bears all day, every day. I mean, Team 1 are just getting washed straight out. PRT. The one rifle of the round. Can he be the hero that they need? I'm going to try and press in from window. The player already in Jaguar, though, so already kind of gotten past the angle they need to, and he'll hear a ton of footsteps. Sheikh Zula calming this. They've rotated back up mid. He correctly read those footsteps. Read the teammates here. Should be able to calm a lot of information through to his team. PRT does some damage. XNS is there for more. Bomb's not committed yet. They don't have to go into this fight, but if they abandon, that gives up a bunch of guns. That gives up quite the arsenal. Sheikh Zula working to retrieve that. Currently doing his best to absolutely destroy his bed. He's dragging it around like he would the neck of an animal he had killed. It's quite absurd. And he is also attempting to do it right next to my PC, the goofball. But this round has slowed down for a moment, allowing a little bit of noodle conversation. And you're going to have to give me just one moment here, John.
Okay, yeah, I thought he loved his bed, I was going to say, but I guess not. I will give you a moment. CASA
He also
gets
loves
the headshot on Spongy. What's that?
He loves it. He also loves destroying it.
Well, it's a love-hate relationship, I guess. Sort of. All right, we'll get back into the action here. I think Mike has a little bit to deal with good old Noodle. Bomb going to be planted here. Bad News Bears looking to go on to 8, despite the fact that Team 1 have the manage. Swisher around the corner makes it even. Steven at a 2v2, and Team 1 are not in a position to get the trade. Swisher thinking about re-peeking it. Did he get the information? Did he spot Mob at the very end? He didn't, but he still gets the headshot on him after he re-peeks it, leaving only CASA, and it's Swisher with the 3-piece. 8-1 for the Bad News Bears on their T side of Ancient.
Oh, I mean, this is a phenomenal scoreline. And I am content to say Noodle has stopped absolutely destroying his bed. You see, there's a stuffed collar around it, and he has made it his mission in life to rip all of the stuffing out of said collar. And he's back to it. All right, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. Timeout's going to get called in from Team 1 here. This is why we can't have nice things. Because they need to radically shift what they're doing. Right? They need to find some sort of a solution to the Bad News Bears. And they've tried a few things. They've tried some aggression in towards mid to try and take that elbow fight. It hasn't been given to them. They've tried to establish cave control. They've been able to do so, but then they lose the site. They've tried to make some cheeky plays towards A. Those have been largely successful, but then they haven't been able to zero in the retake. This is tough, man. So what's the next step? Aggression down the B ramp? Aggression out A main? There are a few more toolkits you can use here, but it really is a situation where the Bad News Bears are identifying the weakness, exploiting it, taking some early advantages, and then sitting on them for as long as possible until they... What? A hiding... Did you just see where Swisher hit those nades?
No, I didn't.
He tossed them into the pile of bricks in the corner outside of B main to be retrieved. Right in here, so you wouldn't see them if you were coming back as a CT.
That's so smart.
That's a brilliant spot for high utility. 1-for-1 exchange. Maluk forced back, and they've got B once more. The bomb's not planted yet, but it's only a matter of time now. 1-for-1 exchange is still working out for the Bad News Bears. They'll take this all day, every day. The one moment of vulnerability, though, is when they have to devote one of their remaining sets of hands to planting this bomb. And that is where they get punished. PRT, Maluk, Pesadelo, they've got an advantage in this retake. They're going to try and bring it through. But the time is ticking away. The clock is ticking away. That's the ever-present threat. Junior, a huge miss, and Maluk will punish him for it. All onto Spongy now. 3 to find, and they will array themselves against him. Aria player stuck on in, and PRT keeps him safe. There's the round. Team 1 have finally got their second on the board.
I mean, they had to do absolutely everything right just to get that defusal. Nicely done for Team 1 at the very least to get that second, onto the board. Man, oh man, the Bad News Bears are proven to be a tough customer on their T side of Ancient. In particular, towards that B site, they continue to abuse it round after round. And you see Team 1 making the adjustments, but even still, the Bears are still hitting their shots, and they continue to come out aggressive. They really aren't hesitating at all. And there it is, Swisher again. Maluk goes down, and mid is blown open. PRT trying to recover there and gain the space. Pace is there, but it's PRT to go down through the wall. Now Mobs will respond as well to make it a 3v3. So Team 1 at the very least finding the trades. Bad News Bears, I mean, they're just so hard to shut down this time.
Yeah.
Junior finds Mobs.
Every time T1 feel like they've gained an advantage or a fight or a pick, it just comes back the other way instantly. They cannot hold on to any of these leads, any of these advantages. Axenes and Pesa. This is such a prime opportunity. They have to be tempted to go in, and Axenes with that kill, that will coax them through. That will absolutely coax them through, but does he expect another in the position? No, he's going to face towards Junior, and Junior will hit. 13-4 is Junior. The AWPer is incredible right now on Ancient. And this is the T side of Ancient. A side that some teams don't even touch the scoped rifle on. Not wanting to deal with it on a map that can be so difficult and rely on quick movement. But he's just so good. 101 ADR. 10 rounds. 11 rounds, 13 kills. Monstrous.
I'd say it's underused in a map where I do feel, like I mentioned, there are a lot of long-range engagements that you can use here to the offense. Anyways, we're just going to walk out here and farm away. There are 2. He does die in the Molotov, though. But he makes it a 4v3. Don't want to lose that AK, but I think they're just going to abandon it. So they're giving it up to Team 1. They have a couple of players with body armor that'll be able to use it, and Pace is going to be the one to pick it up. That said, because they were going for that aggression down mid, it leaves both bomb sites kind of exposed, in particular the A site, and the Bad News Bears, still being cautious, will clear out every angle. They should be able to get this bomb planted pretty much uncontested. Maybe Maluk will be able to come in here and do some damage. But as it stands, there you go. Eagles going to plant that. Spam with the smoke, but he's not going to get anything. Pesa does, but is immediately traded, so no longer a threat. Maybe Mobs! Nope.
Nope.
Not him either.
Not happened there. Luke. Looking for a miracle. Miracle's not at hand. His prayers not answered. 10 rounds! T-side of Ancient. Domination station for the Bad News Bears, as once again they prevent Team 1 from building any defensive momentum here. At least the reinvestment can come through here, John. There's something for Team 1, but whoa, this is a brutality.
I think the last time I saw an H&T side go this well was back when it was first introduced, and Pain Gaming, it was just their map, right?
Yeah.
And they were this good on the side. Even I don't know. It's just really surprising to see.
Okay.
XNS gonna get shake there from Jaguar. That's a good start here for Team 1 at the very least.
Look at the adjustment. They've got 2 players pushing Jaguar. There was aggression down mid, but they're giving it up. They're giving it up. And as a result, now here's going to come to take, but Maluk is not smoked off. The one angle that's not covered. He is punishing. The smoke is deep, and Maluk this time is standing strong. Here they go. They might regret the placement of the utility in this one. Gonna try for the plant. What? Okay. Spongy did not realize Maluk was right there. Was very focused on the right side of that, and that's going to be a relatively clean round for Team 1. So if they could run back 5 here at the end of the half, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, good adjustment made by sending 2 over to Jaguar, but what happened here? I mean, look,
I think Spongy literally, like from his perspective, did not see him. Thought he had fallen back.
Not only that, they got 3... He got 3 frags, like, from the same exact position. So they should have isolated at the very least before Spongy was even exposed to that extent.
It was a bit of an oversight from the Bad News Bears. They threw a really deep smoke, and then didn't have any other utility to deal with Maluk. So, Bad News Bears time out there, as they're going to try and process what just went wrong with that one. Yeah. And also, I think, figure out their economy. Just going to let that one hang in the air. Gonna let that one happen. 2 more rounds and a half. I mean, whichever way this breaks for Team 1, it's not exactly looking good, but 2 more rounds would be a lifesaver, potentially. So much more of a possibility. Oh! Good kill from Alds. Swisher. Looking to find more. He's done it with a Glock. He's done it with a Glock of all things. Swisher 2 kills to his name. Chasing this on through. XNS is going to try and pull a hero play here. Dancing among the smokes. Trying to make something happen. Pesadelo. Dancing around, but it's all on to Spongy now. Oh, and his back is turned. PRT had the flank exposed. There we go. Round 4 for Team 1. It has taken a very long time for them to get their feet under them. This round, it takes a boost. Several smoke plays. Crazy flanks coming through. But finally, they find round number 4, and they might just be able to give themselves some sort of cushion to attempt this second half.
Yeah, and the Bad News Bears, well, they've run out of money in the tank. They're forcing up whatever they can get. That's only going to be 2 Deagles, 2 Tech 9s, and Swisher's just going to try and push up, but man, Bad News Bears have done that one too many times, and this time Team 1 are ready to completely shut it out with utility and the guns. That quickly leaves the Bad News Bears down to only 3 players charging into this A site, and you see Team 1 backpedaling now. Trying to isolate the fights, and they absolutely do. Maluk finds Junior. PRT waiting around the edge of this smoke, and Maluk's going to get B-Wills. PRT does go down, but it's only Spongy. 4 rifles against 1 Deagle, but the 1 Deagle doing the damage until CASA settles things down. Team 1 do indeed get 5.
They do. They do. Okay, so there's something. There's a cushion here to work with. There's something to build with in the second half. Still brutal. If this plays out to our expectations of Ancient, this is probably going to be a pretty quick one. And we'll be thinking about the decider. Still, the Bad News Bears, I mean, we have to see how that defense works, but my goodness, were they being decisive? Were they being controlling? Their takes in towards B in particular just had Team 1 on the back foot the entire time.
Maybe Team 1 can replicate what the Bad News Bears did on their T side now. 5 rounds to recover in order to tie this one up. And it would all start with a nice little pistol round victory. They're stacked up with B-Wills, and they both go down. Not a trade in sight. 5v3, and Team 1 just going to blitz now onto this B site and try to take it through force. And that they will. In fact, the Bad News Bears just fall off of it completely through the smoke, though. Spongy cannot survive. Maluk spots his head. and takes him down. I shouldn't say spots it. He just gets the connection through the smoke because he couldn't see a thing. Shake and Junior, the last two standing, and Shake just going to have a peek. At the end of the day, they're going to have to hit some nutty shots in order to overload 5 players standing in the post plant.
Maluk is going to help finish that one off. So it's over. That's the pistol round taken from Team 1. Here's how you start the comeback. Would be wild if we saw it come back the other way.
Yeah.
But here we go. I mean, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Bad News Bears not going to invest into this round. Well, I said that too soon. Okay, they are going to invest into this round. Not sure how I feel about that one. But we'll see if the Deegs can net results here. The one who get a strong first round bye, they do. Junior saving that extra money to get towards the AWP right off the rip. We have heavy presence in the cave and Jaguar. Sure looks like he wants to get aggressive with this as well, perhaps. Just tucked up in there towards Jaguar. As that smoke fades, we might see a 4-way through. Still got this control, still got the spacing. Player coming back from spawn. XNS posted up for it. Now they'll start to clear on it. Take this space to claim it. There's one. The second as well for XNS, and he's cleared out this spot, and with it, he should have secured a very powerful position to play the post plant for his team. And you can see the response for the Bad News Bears. They don't even want this. They're out. They don't want that heat. They don't want that action. You have to hold on to Cave to make this kind of a retake with this kind of weaponry work.
Yeah, and I mean, rather than just throw it away, save it for the next round. Give yourselves at least the Deagles to fight with, because it's going to be an all-out save. With $0 in the bank counts for Spongy, Shake, and Swisher. Good on Team 1. They've quickly cut this lead down to only 3 rounds, and they keep 4 players alive with 3 Galils and an AK amongst them. That is going to help out a lot. I imagine PRT is going to drop, or that one player that went down. I don't know. XNS is going to settle for a MAC-10. Fair enough. Not a bad weapon to move forward with. They're going to try to farm the money. As mentioned, nothing going to be invested into this round. Well, I take that back. Swisher does buy a Deagle, and B-Wills the 5.7. So they get the pistols in their hands. They're going to try charging down mid. They do. 2 players get the donut. Swisher, perhaps spotted out, but Shake gets the opening frag.
All right. Okay. Shake Zula. Deagles making some noise here. They have taken B, though. This bomb's making its way over to be planted. Should be able to plant safe in this exact that smoke, which could actually lend itself to Spongy. Okay. The trade is there, but the damage is starting to go substantial. Pull a few Deags out. Yes, they don't have a lot of health. They are going to give this an attempt, since they'll be buying in the next regardless. Here comes the play. Malbs timing that flashbang for his teammates to play off of. Will succeed. At least for the moment. It seems like this is where the reign of terror and damage comes to an end, but Sheikh Zula, he's found a Galil. And now he's tapped. He has to bring Malbs up. Malbs needs to check this, but Malbs is good for it. Oh my goodness, that got way too close for comfort. Sheikh Zula wouldn't have been able to win it on the time alone, but he could have done even more damage. And that's an expensive round for Team 1 to deal with.
Yeah, it certainly is, and good job on the Bad News Bears to grab that Galil off the ground and get it into the hands of the full HP player, that is Shake, so it lets him do that damage. Bring it down to only 1 for Team 1. That said, they do cut the lead to 2. The Bad News Bears are going to come out with their first full-on rifle buy. It'll be short 1 A1S, and Swisher only had enough from us, but it's 3 of those A1Ss, and the AWP for Junior, who's been very good with it on his T sides. Let's see what the CT side yields. Malbs, along with XNS, waiting in jungle for their opportunity to push through connector into mid. In the meantime, though, Team 1, that's PRT, going into A main and waiting for some pushes to come through from the Bad News Bears. Not a bad spot to hold, because CTs do often get a little antsy into these positions. There's some utility being thrown. A smoke to guys off what would be an entrance for Team 1 onto A.
We'll be below a minute by the time the smoke fades. What other utility is there here on A? Oh, what do we have? We got Spongy. We got Sheikh Zula. So there's actually a lot. The problem is they're positioned to anticipate maybe some play from Donut. Here comes the peek. Here comes the swing. Shake blinded up. He is boosted. And now the donut present's starting to come around. But Shake Zula, he's isolated this kill. He's got it. Dead to rights. Oh, the peek from Spongy. Looked like it was on, but Maluk manages to get the shot out. And now Shake Zula's in for a world of hurt. That smoke just gives him time to reposition to get into the corner, but they heard him, and he doesn't care. Actually, it's Junior to take the kill, save his bacon. But this is working out right now for the Bad News Bears. They've got the advantage set up, and that bomb still hasn't gone down and will need to cross into the line of fire. Swisher on the flank out from the donut is going to help them shut this down, and shut it down they will. The Bad News Bears find their first round of the half, and now they started up the fire.
That's a good read on the positioning of Team 1 by the Bad News Bears. In particular, Swisher coming around from Donut on the flank to really put the finishing blow onto that defense at the A site. And Team 1, well, they cannot stop the Bad News Bears once they got those rifles in their hands. Swisher upgrades to the AK, and everything looking rosy for the Bad News Bears now, especially considering that Team 1 had a lot of expensive rounds to open things up, right? In particular, that round, we think back to it, Shake Zula managing to get 2 frags before going down. So.
Oh. People me music. God. Time spent in the me world. We had some fantastic creations on that Nintendo Wii back in the day.
Oh man, that music is so nostalgic, man.
I remember making like our high school teachers making versions of them in Mii's.
Really?
Yeah. There were a couple who had like very distinctive faces, and I'm not saying whether it was positive or negative. It was negative, but they got recreated because they were so easy to caricature. You know, kids can be cruel. We didn't tell them, fortunately.
What's worse though, Mike?
Doing it and not telling them, or telling them?
Exactly.
Definitely doing. I mean, definitely telling them. That would just be bullying. Kids got to figure out a way to express their frustration with authority figures, you know? And if making a me of them is the worst that they do, that's pretty harmless.
Fair enough. What's not harmless, though, is this AK in the hands of Swisher. He's sitting at 17 frags at the top of the scoreboard for the Bad News Bears. And push down this B ramp. He could shut down any attempt to get to B by his lonesome, especially with B will supporting. B will slow down, but I don't think they know he's here. Oh my goodness, what a peek from XNS. He read that one by the book. 4v3 in favor of Team 1. CASA going to get this bomb planted as well, but Shake does manage to get the trade on through. Maluk drops, Spongy swings around, gets one, could get the second, it's there. Only PRT left, and the Bad News Bears could be on for a 12th here, unless PRT has some heroics.
Time for some PRT heroics. Probably not. But he's going to wait to play off the defuse. They do. Now they know where he is. Molly could come in to force him off of this. And indeed, it's going to. It doesn't really cover it off, but it does bait him into the peak, and Spongy will be there. Defuse on 12th round found. Lead built back to 4. Big round for Spongy. 3 kills. Spongy be spongin'.
I'm surprised XNS had that read. Wow, just a good clear.
I mean, he's been on one, right? I'm not actually sure what his scoreline stacks up to on this map, but considering the performance on Mirage as well, he has been feeling it today. Where did he sit?
15.
15-13? Yeah. I mean, in a losing affair, you'll absolutely take that. Shake Zula! Gonna shut down too early here. Problem here, Swisher dipping over the window, collects more. No one's doing anything in this round. CASA, though, might rewrite that script. Rifle found. Doesn't have control of the bomb, though, and Swisher's not going to give him any room to rumble. 3rd kill of the round for Swisher, who is also having quite the game. And that'll be Bad News Bears inching ever closer to sending us through to the decider, for taking us to nuke.
That will be interesting. As Shake, speaking of nuke, it's usually his favorite map to frag out on, but it seems like Ancient Might be the new place to keep an eye on him for because, of course, as mentioned, he was the top frag last time, and this time he's close as well, sitting behind Swisher, who's at 20, at 17 frags, and getting quite a few clutch performances to help his team build this lead. It's getting sizable. Team 1 call a timeout, talk things over. They're saying, okay, AKs across the board, let's get that mobility in play. Not that they really had the choice because they couldn't buy the op-up anyway, but still. They are trying to get another round under their belts. And this is more of the typical T side, I would say. And you'll see a lot of struggles, to get into the bomb sites, and the CTs have the advantages. I mean, look, I cannot understate how good that T side was for the Bad News Bears.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty monstrous. I mean, even just letting 3 rounds go at the end, it could have been even more dominant.
Yep.
Nice nade. Holy cow, what a dunk! What a dunk! I mean, that just landed on the back of Pesadelo's neck. My goodness. What madness here. Okay, so now they are heavily wounded up. 4 players limping, and they've barely seen anyone. I don't think they have seen anyone. Just the HEs have given them an absolute bruising. They have been tenderized. Now they might just be headed in to the meat grinder. The B site has 3 players here to defend. They're ready for this. Still a minute on the clock. Team 1 could theoretically bail out since they do have a lurk watching the approach outside A, but I think they're going to commit. I think they're going to come in. And on go the moves.
I mean, a little hesitant to come in. Eventually, you have to think that they're going to commit to this. Finally, it looks like they are going to make that move with 30 seconds remaining in the round. I don't know what it's going to yield. It is Swisher getting the opener. A trade found by Malbs to get Swisher. HP still low for Team 1, but at least they're going to be able to get this bomb planted, or they'll have a chance at it. Boost comes through. B-Wills can't see anything over it, and the bomb plant is indeed there. Will that be all they get? B-Wills is going to drop X and S.
Love that boost for B-Wills. Just playing it patient as well, waiting for the player to go into the cubby, knowing that that's a very strong post-plant position, that they're going to try and get it as soon as that bomb goes down. It's a pretty common protocol for a player to make the move there once they've planted. And that's what he punishes. Ollie's in to start to section off these players. Malbs has played this position before. Do they read it here? No! But Shakes a little quick on the trade. Still, there's more bodies there. Somehow they're corralling this, but it's going to come down to a clutch for Spongy. How well does PRT know this lineup?
No time.
Gonna try for it. It's gonna fade, but Spongy's got it. He doesn't have the clock. He's going to die. Everybody dies. No survivors of the round. And Team 1 win that off the clock.
Oh, man. Nice effort on the retake by the Bad News Bears. It is kind of bad news. I did not intend to make that pun. But for Team 1, because they don't have much money to work with, right?
You're the Bad News Bears.
That's true.
Bank's going to be depleted. Shake Zula's limited here. And that CT side, if they lose this, they're brittle. This is, I would say, this is far worse for the defense. You could really see them give up a bevy of rounds off of it if they don't convert here. This is a critical swing now, folks. Critical swing coming in. 3 players going to start to make their way up B main. And in they go. Swisher trying to hold the line. Dancing around the pillar, but ooh, he can't survive. He can't back away. He got caught by the flashbang, and that is well thrown from Pesadelo. Bomb's going to be down. Now they've got the site with a man advantage. And again, talking about the economics here, at a certain point, the Bad News Bears, you got to consider the save, and that's the point. B-Wills goes down. He had 2 directions to watch, and he knew he was hemmed in. Wrong way, wrong time. Bad News Bears will concede round number 10 over to Team 1. And that's going to be a major blow to their chances to close out this game.
Well, Junior at least gets a parting gift. Put that frag on Maluk. PRT's around the corner. He's just spotted out, so he's just going to back off a little bit. They don't really want to lose any more guns, because again, both economies kind of fragile. And well, it will be Team 1 at the very least to get into double digits now, making it 13-10. Again, trying to creep closer and closer to a tie game. But the Bad News Bears with the 2 rifles saved over, well, unfortunately, it'll be all they have in this round. As Shake buys up a Deagle. Swisher and B-Wills are on the full-on save. Let's see if that off for Junior and the A1S for Spongy are enough. Are they going to split them up or keep them together? It looks like the answer is split them up. Junior playing over at the B site and Spongy at A.
Junior posted. Apologies if the squeaky toy is coming through. Junior posted, waiting for someone to come around, but it's not happening just yet. Team 1 very timid in this round, knowing that if they make an error, they might just invite the devil back in, and the devil in this instance being the Bad News Bears. So it's going to come down to 2 guns to really try and make inroads here. We got Spongy at the back of A. They're playing the traditional spots, and we've got Junior getting a little bit more bold in the cave. Here comes Swisher, poking on out with the USP. He's going to find the space. He's going to find the info. How do they react to this? He comes out the window. Okay, that is being watched, and he's been put on notice as well. Nade going to come over. Dunker of a nade. But Junior, off of this, has gotten some positioning. It's difficult. He's ahead of it. Doesn't realize how many are there. And this is a massacre now. Team 1 peppering so much damage around, but they are going to test the one site the rifle remains on. Actually, the one site where something could go wrong, but okay, they passed the test with flying colors. No problems here. Team 1 make it through. 3 alive, bomb down, round 11 on the board.
Mal's just dropping bodies, taking names. Great work from him with a 3-piece on that round to give Team 1 an 11th round. And now the Bad News Bears, I mean, technically that was an eco for them, so they can reinvest into this round. They already have Junior with the op. It is a glass cannon, though. Bear that in mind. And B-Wills with the A1S. Both, I shouldn't say both, all the rest of the players, Swisher, Shake, and Spongy, will be able to get the A1S up and running. I think with full utility pretty much, so...
Should be good. Should be good. This round's critical though. This is gonna be a FAMAS for a Swisher to allow that full utility to come through. We might see further limitations here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, to be honest, I think he went for that because Junior doesn't have any at all.
Goes. Team 1 looking to claw this back. This would be another huge swing round. The Bad News Bears are running out of opportunities to really mount a defense here. It's crazy how similarly this is playing out to the first half in terms of the T side being dominant, being strong. It's not what we expect for Ancient, but between these two teams, it seems to be the new norm.
Well,
any given game, man.
I think the Bad News Bears got off to a hotter start on their T side, of course.
Yeah, true.
Team 1 that are picking it up, and words are coming out of my mouth. There we go. They're picking up the pace here in the latter part of it instead. Shake Zula, the Mike Rula. Oh, he's got mobs dead to rights. Mobs had no idea he'd snuck up to that point. XNS does get the immediate traits. That's a good response. Doubles back a little bit and then finds the follow-up on Swish. 4v3. That's the advantage. And Team 1 trying to put the squeeze on the Bad News Bears.
The real question is, do they realize how open this B site is now? Do they realize how much space they've gained? They don't seem to. XNS will eventually start to probe, but this could actually be problematic because Team 1's already kind of committed to this A take. They've sent one player out at least. PRT is certainly committed, but as XNS finds more and more and more space, he might be communicating to his team, hey, rotate back around. Problem is there's only 25 seconds, so he can't do that anymore. And now he's dead. So that space is certainly not gained. They are going to head on in towards A. This is the best site.
Whoa.
And Junior, that's almost a collat. It legs Maluk as well. They are going to be damaged. One player into the tombs. He has cleared around the corner. Oh, tight in. Junior knows he's got him hemmed in, but he's got to get the shot. Not going to risk an arm shot this time around. That's going to be the Bad News Bears enforcing their will at just the right moment. Not only that, they save 3 alive as well to find round 14. This is a round they had to get. It's a round they had to get with some bodies up as well, and they do exactly that.
That was a 3v4 for the Bad News Bears, and like you said, they don't lose a single body after that point. Impressively done, especially with XNS doing this type of work. Oh, goodness. Well, he did get caught out at the end by B-Wills, but still. Team 1 will not take a 12th. And that means the Bad News Bears now only 2 away from securing this map and sending us on over to Nuke, which Team 1 has had their struggles on, especially against teams of the caliber of the Bad News Bears. Let's see if the Bad News Bears can keep this one up. Right now, Junior is going to get Maluk. The boost doesn't matter at all. X and S could get the response, and he does. 4v4.
Critical. They needed it. Oh, B-Will's looking for more. He's got it. He holds down Mouse 1. And X and S trying to follow up the kill, trying to trade it back while he gives up his own life. Now it's catastrophe for Team 1. This would be map point coming up on the board if they concede it. And CASA and PRT are all that remains. CASA and PRT. But PRT does have a cheeky bit of positioning. He's found his way into the red room. He's taking his path through mid. Got a lot of space now. Coming into the back lines. That's going to be PRT connecting on 1. Does he realize how close the CT player is? We'll drop a smoke just in case. That's a wise decision. Bungie posted up waiting for it. Junior trying to come back to clear this, and they are going to clear it out. I think bodies devoted 2, but now it's 2 for Team 1. No! Quesadelo can't get around the corner. They just need to survive. They just need to survive, but they can do no such thing. Spongy there for the last. It comes down to the wire, comes down to the absolute last kill, but it is map point found for the Bad News Bears, and the bank is depleted for Team 1.
Oh my goodness. Interesting attempt there at the clutch for PRT right at the very end, but he is cut short. He was Spongy. Either way, like you said, map point for the Bad News Bears. They want some nuke. They want to push this one last map. Yeah, depleted is an understatement for the economy of Team 1. They got 2 MAC-10s, 3 Deagles, and a little bit of utility. Oh my goodness, the jumping MAC-10 to the rescue for Pesadillo. Spongy goes down, and the Bad News Bears don't have anyone else on this A site, so Team 1, they are not out of this one just yet.
No, they're not. They're fighting. They're battling their way on through. And this is going to be safe for the Bad News Bears. They don't want this. They don't want this heat. They're backing off. They're giving it up. They're giving Team 1 a rope back in. I mean, to be fair, if Bad News Bears went for that retake, they have nothing going into the next. So this is a conservative call, but it's a call that makes sense. Junior's got to be careful for the hunt. And Team 1 recognizes the situation as well. Any gun they can prize from their opponent's hands would be huge, would be massive. It's not going to happen. Team 1 find 12, but the Bad News Bears at least preserve 4 sets of weapons. 1 kill goes in and the round falls apart for the Bad News Bears.
That's unbelievable. Just the jumping MAC-10 is all that Team 1 needed to get themselves a 12th on the board, and now... Well, I mean, yeah, the 4-man save certainly helps the cause, but it still wasn't exactly the greatest of buy-ups in the first place. At least they have a FAMAS now, added to the mix by Spongy. Team 1, without a doubt, the much better buy-up going into this round. Oh, we're going to go for that boost once more. Maluk this time throwing a flashbang over. Junior has the AWP, but he's not going to challenge as much, at least not from the same angle. There's that nade. Evils was thinking about throwing it. Could have done some damage, but instead opts for the flashbang and toss that over so Junior can peek out. He does peek, but a flash in turn. Force Junior back a little bit. B-Wills gets the opener with the MP9. Junior legs Mobs down to 18. They have a nade. Doesn't connect onto Mobs. And Pesa will be pushing up towards Filler. He finds B-Wills, and Mobs takes down Junior. 4v3. The Bad News Bears losing the bodies, but they do get one back. Swisher. Oh, this bomb's gonna be blended out. Oh, the Molotov.
The Molotov finds it. That's huge. Slows down the bomb plant as well, but clearing out the cave. This one goes back and forth.
Oh my goodness.
Spongy and Shakesula still present. That bomb's now gone down. Now at the very least for Team 1, they have the clock to play off of, and a double peek eliminates Spongy. Shakesula with it all to do. He's a man alone. He's a man alone, but he's found the first. Knows where the second is. Shakesula! Not good for the kill. Maluk just brings it through. Saves the AWP as well. And Team 1 are so close to bringing this into overtime. 2 rounds. All that's required.
Oh my goodness. That was the craziest round I think we've had so far in this series. Back and forth madness. Down to a clutch situation for Shake, and honestly, that could have easily gone either way.
Zeus is out for Sheikh Zula.
Man, but look at this. They don't have anything in the round.
No. So here's the thing, though. I love the decision to go for the Zeus in this situation because what you're saying is we need something to rally us. And if I get a Zeus kill right now, it's going to put a smile back on someone's face, and we can try and compete for that last round.
I suppose, if you want
Problem
to look
is,
at it that way.
He's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah.
Psychological warfare here. Bolster the troops, rally them. Sheikh Zula. Just trying to get them going again.
I mean,
this is probably not going to happen though. The retake Zeus, not effective.
Yeah, XNS almost went down from that push down ramp, but it's going to be over. Sheikh, as you mentioned, on the other side of the map, not within striking distance with that Zeus this time. And, well, didn't really have much to save, and, well, he won't even get a chance to fire off the USP in the round. PRT spots him out looking the wrong way, and Team 1 on to 14. We are going to the very limit of regulation here. Team 1 trying to tie it up and push this one to overtime, and the Bad News Bears one last chance to end this one in regulation.
The Bad News Bears had 10 rounds on their T side.
Yeah.
It was 10-2 at one point before Team 1 managed this insane run back. 10-2. 3 rounds to end the half. And then we get to this point. One round, all that separates these teams from overtime.
They've only had 5 rounds since that point versus 12 for Team 1.
Insane.
Oh, man, definitely. And looking at Team 1, well, they have enough money to buy whatever they want versus the Bad News Bears who do have to settle from us. At least Junior is back on the op and pretty much full utility. It all comes down to this in regulation. Sheikh Zula smoked off in Red Room. He's going to spam on through with the A1S as he should, since it's a very effective spam weapon through that smoke. Team 1 have done this pretty much the last 4 rounds, sending Maluk onto the boost spot. He tosses a flashbang and they peek on forward. This time the Bad News Bears don't really have much presence onto that B site. That's a great nade throw. B-Will's taking down to 42 HP, and he's going to have to hide himself back in that cave. Doesn't want to be overexposed to that potential spam.
All quiet to this point. Both sides recognizing what that first pick could mean. Small con in to indicate perhaps a B take, and it's drawing the 4th rotator. Team 1 have abused the B site so many rounds that all they have to do is throw one piece of utility and the Bad News Bears respond, and they can't afford not to, right? These takes have been brutal. But this is going to come up mid. Is it a donut play, or is this a fake on a fake? No, it is in fact a clearance towards donut. Okay. Still smart, still clever, it's still tricksy. But it's not quite as bold as I thought it was. Flashbang there for Spongy. Trying to keep himself alive here. Has some support coming in from Sheikh, and they're starting to bring the 3rd rotator, but with smokes up on the site, there's not much that could be done. Still, the lineup is there. 1 found, 2 found, 3. But 2 go back the other way. Still an advantage for the Bad News Bears. And that bomb's not yet planted, and as they try and do so, they're running out of clock. PRT alone, 10 seconds. He's out of opportunities. This isn't going to happen. The Bad News Bears let them right up to the gate, but then they shut the gate in